Hello, welcome along, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. If you are new, please hit that subscribe down there and hit the notifications bell, give us a thumbs up, it all helps. So if you remember in part 5 we pretty much finished the bike, and as you can see here I've got the front upper windshield fairing removed, and it's because I've decided when I look at it like this it looks a bit featureless without the mirrors, so I'm going to put them on because on the box front it's got the mirrors and I think it just looks better. I don't know, it looks more like a motorbike. I know some of you will disagree, some of you will agree, but whatever, I just thought I'd change my mind. So if you remember we had to super glue these in, so what I'm going to do is actually remove them using a product called Super Glue Remover. This is the VMS version, there are other ones about. This one is it's polystyrene friendly, which is cool. I've also checked it with the paint. I wanted to make sure it was going to be paint friendly as well. So what I'm going to do is put a tiny little drop on here and a tiny drop on there where the super glue is, and I'm just going to leave that and let it do its thing. And that's the product there. You can get this from Brooks Models should you want to. Go on to brooksmodels.com. Here they are here. I think I've shown you these before. And in this build, I know I've shown them lots of times on my channel, but you've got two codes you could use: NMB10 for 10% off your order over £15, and NMB20 for 20% off your order over £50. So there you go. So just looking at this now, I can see we've got a tiny little bit of movement there, but I don't want to go too mad with it, because what I don't want to do is tear the paint. If the super glue has gone under and could put it over to the edge, say here, when I break it away it may well tear the paint away, and that will really ruin the look of the model. So we'll let that do its thing just for a few minutes. So in the meantime what I can do is get the box over, because I'm completely and utterly unprepared. So get the box over. In fact, I'll turn the camera off and then I'll come back when they're ready to go. Okay, so while this is doing its thing, dissolving that glue, we'll get on and do the mirrors. So I've got all the parts off. I've got one here, I've got one here. This is left, this is right. So I've got all the parts off as per the instructions. So all of this should just clip together, we shall see. So the first thing I'm going to do, we've got these mirror lenses here. You can see we've got number 1, number 2, and here we've got number 1 and number 2. Now this peels off. I've actually done this before I put the camera on, because it's quite difficult to get off. Get a knife under it and just peel it off. So this one is going to go onto this one here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab one of my little, this is a little tool I use for holding parts for painting. It's a little crocodile clip mounted on an arm. So I can hold that like that. In fact, I'm going to turn that over and hold it that way up. Right. And then I'm going to put this into there in position, just gently push it down. I think it needs a nudge over to the left. There we go. And then we should be able, oh, okay, I was thinking I could peel this front cover off and it would stay where it is. I think maybe this front cover is stopping it from going down properly because of the flange around the edge. So what I'm going to try and do here is get this to go in. Now I've peeled back that corner. Trouble is the mirror moves as you pull this off, because the mirror is not holding in. This is not working out at all well. We'll get there in the end, don't worry. There we go. Put that on there, make sure we put it the right way up. Get off. And then I'm going to use a cotton bud. Got finger marks on there. Don't push it down too hard because this is hollow in the middle. But try and get rid of those finger marks. So there's our mirror on there. Okay, so that's cool. Right, and I'm going to do the other side. I'll do it off camera. No, well, I'll do it on camera so that you can see what we're doing. So I want it that way up, I think. Yeah, now I want it like that. Right, so what I'm going to do is get this into that corner, get it in position, hold it here, peel this back, hold that end down, and then as I peel it back, move my thumb over it and push the actual mirror part into the black plastic, and then we can get that off, get that reset in the recess. Grab our cotton bud once again, just go around that one's in position now. So there we are. So that's the mirrors done. Right, that's the tough bit done. Well, I assume that's going to be the tough bit. Got some dust on there, so we can put these mirrors together just like so. I've got a sprue gate still on there which I need to remove. I didn't realise there was one there, so I'm going to remove that one from there, and we'll do the same on this side because I probably would have missed it on here. Yes, I did. I thought the sprue gates were on the ends. Right, so that's going to go onto there like that. Okay, so that's that built up, and then this is the mounting. So the mirror's going that way round, and the mounting is going that way round. You can see these pins are shaped so it can't go on wrong. And then that will push down into there like so. And this will hold the mirror together if I can get it to go in. It's a weird shape. The hole looks like it's the same shape, but it's like it's not big enough, and I don't really know how we're going to get about getting this to go in. If I could put it in the wrong way first just to clear it out. Nope. It's a very snug, well it's more than a snug fit, it won't go in. So I don't know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to try and do is just gently go around the edge, because it may just be flash that's stopping it going over or going in. It really does not want to go in. Helps if you try it the right way, Nigel. There we go, it's gone in now. I was trying to put it in the wrong way. Right, so there we are, there's our mirror together. See, we've got a bit of a seam down there, but never mind. And then there's this clear part that's going to go in. I would have thought they would have had a mirror backing or something for this, but clearly they don't. Clearly, no pun intended. So that's gone in there. Okay, and then that's ready to go. This mirror's got to go on here. So that's going to push on there. Don't push the mirror in the middle, otherwise you'll sink the mirror into the middle because it's concave behind there. So there's one mirror, so we've got to repeat the same on the other side. Right, so there's both mirrors together. So now, let's see, it's been about half an hour, let's see if that glue softener has done its thing. And it would appear that the answer is no. So it could well be that I'm not going to be able to put these anyway. I'm going to try and lever this from the outside without damaging any paint. Well, it's certainly softened the glue, so I don't quite understand why it won't come out, because they didn't exactly clip in. I can see what the problem is, probably because there's... Oh, that's good, that windscreen's come out, so I haven't got any risk of marking that now. I think what's probably happened is the glue got underneath. So what I'm trying to do, oh, now I've broken my blade, brilliant. There we go. So the glue had actually got underneath and I hadn't put enough of the debonding agent in there to get to it. So there we go, they're out now. That's brilliant. Okay, so now I'm going to throw those away. I'm going to grab a drop of IPA. Again, I'm going to test an inconspicuous area where it's painted. There's some paint there. I'm just going to check the paint doesn't, I'm not sure there is paint there. Let's go under here. Okay, the IPA is not affecting the paint, so I can just quickly mop that up. Okay, and get rid of the debonding agent, because obviously we've got to now glue it's weird, that's push that pin over when it went together. So yeah, we get rid of that debonding agent. You can see it is taking some plastic or something off. So that's that done. So what's happened is the super glue has dissolved the paint, I should imagine. So it's just taken the paint out from those recesses. So what we've got to do now is put this all back together. So the windscreen's going in there, like so. And then this piece here is going over there and over those holes. Okay, and that's going to hold the windscreen in. And then we're back to square one. We're going to push this back onto the bike, get that pin lined up, and it's quite tough to get on. So I'm going to hold the bike rather than have it on its stand, because something's likely to break if you do that, and just keep working it backwards, and then it will go back. It has to go back to line up with that instrument panel, and it's pushed the instrument panel off now. Oh, great. Please go back in. That's held in with a tab in the middle, so there we go. Okay, that's going to have to do. Maybe that instrument panel will come forward a touch. So we have got a slight gap across the middle there, but that's going to have to do. I'm not going to risk breaking anything. So the mirrors can go on, and it tells you in the instructions they have to be glued. Let's just see. Yes, they do. So move right here out the way. I'm going to get some of the VMS 4PE. Get a drop of that in our Pringles lid here. And then with the glue applicator, once again, I'm going to put the glue in the hole, not onto the model. Not onto the mirror, sorry, not on the model. Onto the mirror. I'm going to put it in the hole. Okay, so I can push that down into there, like so, and hopefully it will take and set. I'm going to test fit this one first. Always test fit before you glue. So get some glue into there, like so. And then that one can go in there. There we are. That looks better. I know the track guys out there, the race guys, the superbike guys would say, well, you got those mirrors on, they're horrible, but I just think it looks a bit bare without them as a model. If I had a real one, I'd probably take the mirrors off, I must be honest. My Harley, I've got the mirrors slung underneath the handlebars. So, there we go. There we are. That's the model finished. But what we've got to do now, we've got to do this race stand, so we can get the parts off of the race stand and see how that's going to. So there we go. There's the final few parts out of the tray. So the plastic tray's now missing, empty. Sorry. That's the reflector that I haven't put on because I haven't fitted that ugly number plate thing. So there we go. So here we've got the sides of the stand. So these are going on with this lug, this square bit facing outwards. So that's going that way. Okay, so that one's going to press into there like that, and then this one's going to press into there like that. That needs gluing because it's just very sloppy, so we're going to grab some of our super glue and put it in that hole there. We'll put that one in pronto. Don't hang about because it'll get stuck halfway down. And then we're going to put some super glue into that one there. And again, get that one in pronto. Okay, and that's your stand done. And then we've got the wheels. So we've got these little wheels, and they're going to press on. And they're an extremely loose fit. You can see they're just going to fall off. So once again, drop of super glue. I thought it said no glue required. You don't need much, you just need a tiny drop. It's not like a working model that's getting bits pulled about and everything. It's just going to sit there, even if you're going to use it. I mean, I would probably recommend displaying this model on its race stand, because that side stand is not going to last forever. I wouldn't have thought. Okay, so there's our wheels put on. So there's our race stand together, and it shows it there, and it's hooking on to these little pegs here that are sticking out of the swinging arm here. So they'll go in there. In fact, it looks like it's actually going to sort of clip on. This is not easy to do on camera. There we go. So there's our bike up on its race stand, and if you want to let it down, just kick the back down. And when you want to put it on the stand, just get it lined up on both sides, unlike what I'm doing. There you go, there's your bike up on its stand. So there you can see the bike with its stand there. So that's lovely. Right, you put your side stand up. And there you are, that's probably a better way to display your model. Right, so that's it. Congratulations, let's share your model with your friends. That's it. Now then, we have parts left over. So let's just quickly go through this. Before we start decals, I just want to talk about the model a bit. We've got decals that have got to go on. Okay, so they're not going to be left over, they're going to be used now. We have on here, we have these two Honda badges for the tank, which we use the gel badges instead. We have two sprockets, but we don't have the chain to go with them. So those parts are absolutely fine. Here we have probably rear indicators, okay, from the from taking off the rear, that horrible thing sticking out the back there. Okay, so that's what we've got there. And then on here we've got a rear license plate. We've got the license plate holder and this bracket there. The license plates go on there, that goes on that, license plate goes on there, and the indicators go on the sides. You can see them there. Okay, and then you've got this here. I don't have a clue what that is. Maybe I should have used it, but I haven't. I will quickly check. I'll turn the camera off and check in the instructions. We've also got three parts here, 14, 15 and 16, which I haven't used. It could be that they're for a different version. So we've also got those two discs there. They were for the side reflectors, which I haven't used because they're ugly, and that'll be the rear number plate lamp there. Okay, so that's the bits we've got left over. We've also got our reflector for the rear end, which we don't need. We've got some screws left over, And then there's this piece here, which I don't know what it is. It's probably, yes, the back of that. That's come off the sprue. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly check in the instructions, because that part there and these parts here look like maybe I should have used them. Let's have a look. Okay, so those parts, D15, 14, 15 and 16, they're used in that rear light unit, which I haven't used. So not worried about that. But the other one, whoops, there, D53 goes inside that frame. So it fits inside there, and I've completely left it out. Now, because it's all snapped together, I could take it all apart and fit it. But quite honestly, I don't see that it's going to do very much. I can't honestly see what it was going to do. Maybe if I lift this, air box up, the airbox and the fuel tank will lift up. No, we can't see down in there because we've got all that stuff down inside. So yeah, I'm not gonna take it all apart to fit that, but you can see that when you look up here, that's probably when you would have seen it. But I haven't fitted it. It's just a sort of splash guard, I think, to stop the wheel getting muck on the back of the engine, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, I missed that. Oops. I expect some of you have been shouting at the camera, shouting at the TV screen while you've been watching me. So there we go. Anyway, right, I need to have a look at the sheet. So we have this, those instructions can go back in the box. We have this sheet here, and this is telling us where all our decals go. So a lot of them are just tiny little things that, to be frank, I'm not going to bother with, because I think they'll just come off because it's all going onto bare plastic. This one here, I'm not going to put on. That's your health and safety stuff, and generally people who buy a bike rip that off straight away. We have no number plate. We already have the Honda there. Okay, 28 is there, so there's a black decal to go on there. Okay, so we might fit that one. You can see they're giving us some idea of all the colours that things should be. The blue, the anodized blue for the fittings and everything. And then over here we've got tiny little decals to cover our rivets in here, but I don't want to put those in. So I'm going to call this done. We've already got the Aquapovic on the exhaust. We've already got this. We've obviously got all the HRC stuff. So we've got all our decals done. Other than these tiny little rivet decals, I don't really see the point. We obviously don't have those side reflectors, so we're not going to use those. We're not using health and safety thing. No number plate. I guess the only one we really need to put on is that one there on the windscreen. So we'll get the decals out. I'll grab our little scissors. How are we doing for time? Got plenty of time. And I'm going to cut around here. If you can hear some snoring type sounds, that's Dottie, the 9-month-old Fox Terrier. Okay, so always cut that number off. And I've got some water here, which I'm just going to dip this in. These decals, they go down beautifully. They are lovely. I'm just going to dip this in some water. Put it on the side, keeping it off this paper mat. Okay, grab a fresh cotton bud, not an old one. And that's ready to go already. These things are amazing. Okay, so move this to one side, get this over here. And then this one, when we look at it from the top, we should see the red around the edge. Okay, so this has got to fit to the edge of the screen, so I'm just going to get rid of that piece of paper. It would have been a better idea to fit this to the screen before the screen was fitted. need to grab a brush. Have a little brush, get some water. And what I'm going to try and do is get under the decal. I don't think, yes I can, there we go, we got under there, right. I'm going to try and push the decal down the edge underneath, there we go. So it will actually, it'll go, what I've done is pushed it down so that it's between the plastic parts. And that way we get a lovely clean edge. Okay, so that's that fitted. It just needs to go up a bit, I think, on that side. So I'm going to get some water in there again, get underneath it. Just see if I can just lift that side up. There we go. Try and get it parallel. And then push it down. It doesn't want to stay in place. These decals are a dream to work with. They are brilliant, guys. Okay, I'm just going to roll that butt over that. There we go. So there we are. I'm going to call that done. Now I'm looking on the decal sheet and I'm wondering again if I've missed something in the instructions here, because on this decal sheet we've got all these stencils. We've got Brembo for the brakes, we've got stencils and everything, but I don't recall them. I would imagine that big one there would go onto that big piece that went underneath on here, but there's no mention of it. So I would have thought that decal should go on the side of there when you look at the shape of it and everything. So do your research first, because we've got Brembo here, we've got Brembo for the brakes. Now Brembo is engraved in there, so that decal is going to be hard pushed to go on there. Are they asking us to fit that decal on the brakes? Yes they are. Now the problem with doing that, if you want to give it a go, give it a go. If you've got some set and sole, it'll go down. But the problem is here, that Brembo on there is recessed into the caliper. So if you put that, in fact I'll try and show you, it's probably going to be, what I'll do is I'll try and do them without set and sole and see if they do actually go down. That'll be a testament to how good these things actually are. And then if we don't use them, you could just easily take them off with a piece of sellotape. If they don't go down well, they will come off easily with a piece of sellotape. So once again I'm going to open my water up and dunk that one in, and then we're going to dunk this one in. There we go. And they literally need seconds before they start to move. They're brilliant, these things. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. Now the trouble is now I want to put this down to do this, but the trouble is now I'm going to break those mirrors off. I would seriously recommend, if you are going to use these decals, put them on the brake calipers when you decide to when you fit the brake calipers. I'm trying to concentrate and talk at the same time, and it's not easy, especially at my age. So we'll put that onto there. Use the end of the tweezers just to move it around, get it lined up with the recess. Okay, and then I can just gently blot it down. It actually looks like it's gone in very, very well after all I said. There you go, you can see that on there. Now we've got to do the same on the other side, so we'll turn the bike over. Going to put some water on the caliper, which helps the decal to pull down. And grab that and then slide off. That stuck to my finger. And then position. This is why I put the water on first, because it allows us to easily position the decal. Line that up with the Brembo on the brake. I wonder how many of these brakes are actually genuine Brembo, because if you've got a Ford Mustang or a Focus RS, on the brake caliper it says Brembo, and then when you take the brake caliper off, down here hidden away it says Fomico. So are they really Brembo? Ford make them under license? Do they just pay Brembo to put the name on there? You do have to wonder, don't you? So yeah, I mean, on this decal sheet, there's none of these stencils necessarily called out that I can see. There's something there. Look, there's one there, 20. That's the frame number, I think. Yeah, that's the frame number. That's going to go on the headstock in behind the foreleg in there. Okay, so we'll put that one in as well. So you see, I'm not going to put any in. We've got O-lins here as well, so there should be some O-lins on the front fork somewhere. But they're not calling them out. Let's have a look. Keep putting the top back on the water. Yes, they are calling them out. I was thinking it would be up here, but it's actually down here. So we've got some white O-lins, decal 21. Yeah, so we've got 2 of those. Got a little tiny one there, 19, wherever that is. So I'm going to put these in the water, keep them together. And then this one here, which way round does it go? Goes with the line at the back. So this one, we'll put some water on the frame. And I think what I'll do is use the brush, because my finger won't go in there. Just slide that off onto the model. We use the tweezers to position it. I'm just using the tweezers as like a prodding stick. So it's going in there, it's going on that flat portion before it bends round onto the frame. Okay, so that's that in place. Cotton bud, just push it down, soak up the excess water, push any air out from underneath. There we go, so that's our frame number. Now the O-lins, make sure we get them the right way up. So we can put some water on there and then just slide that on. Use the tweezers to position it. Just going to soak up some of the excess water. There's too much on there and it's just floating around, it's not sticking at all. Get it squared up. Just like that. Then we'll turn it over. Careful of our stand. Some water on there. Grab the decal and then just slide it off. You can see there it's stuck to my finger. Don't panic. All you need to do is put it back on the model. Okay, so I'm obviously going to have to roll my finger around. There we go, and it will go on. And then you can just go and position it as normal, get it in the right place, get it where you want it. There we are. It's not quite square, so we're just going to move it down a bit on the front end. There we go. Right. So there we are. I am going to call that done. There are lots of little tiny decals to go on, but quite frankly I just want to call it a day and talk about the model. As you can see, there's lots of tiny little bits. There's these tiny little nuts, as I say. There's a lot of them that are already on here, actually, they're calling out. So there's one to go on the inside of the exhaust there, 22, which is that one there. That's a data label for the exhaust. I'll tell you what, we'll put that one. I keep saying that's it. We'll put this one in, and then that really will be it. Okay. When you build yours, you can go to town, put them all on. You may enjoy it, but I think those tiny little dots, those little rivets, I think they'll detract from the look of the model. I really do. There we go. I've been wrong before. So this is going to go on the inside of the exhaust here. So I'm just going to use my thumb, slide the decal on. I know you can't see a thing that I'm doing because the rear fairing's in the way. We'll just slide that around, get it into position. As I say, these decals are a dream to work with, guys. They are absolutely, I'd go as far as to say they're probably the best decals I've ever worked with. They are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They come off the paper really fast. They go down, they don't all wrinkle up. They're not thick, they're not glossy, they're everything right about them. They're absolutely a joy to use. There we go. So yeah, as I say, when you get yours, you can put all these little studs on. I'm not going to bother, especially not right now. I may put them after or something. But there we go. Lots and lots of little bits and pieces for you to play with. I'm going to call this one done. The basic idea of doing this build was not because I wanted to build a Honda Fireblade. Okay, the idea of doing this build was to show you guys who are thinking about getting this how it goes together, and to show you the pitfalls and you know, where to be careful. Now, I hope I've helped you along the way with a few little bits that weren't so clear in the instructions. The instructions are generally very good, but there are certain areas where I think they could have made things clearer with the hose fitting and everything. Tamiya are experts at doing that. But that bit, was it section 25, where it just said here, you know, and there's no indication that they actually mean hoses. It's just, you look at it, you think, well, I know where the fork legs go. You know, I don't know why you're showing me all that, and then you realise that they're actually showing you the hoses as well. So there we go, and I can't believe I missed a part out as well. But never mind, that's what happens when you're on camera. If you're going to get one of these, as I say, you get it from Tiger Hobbies. There's other retailers going to get them as well. Tiger Hobbies are the importers, so you'll probably get yours first if you get it from there. I say probably, I don't know. If you are going to build one, I would seriously recommend getting yourself some of the paints they talk about. You've got a load of paints here they recommend in AK, Mr. Colour and Tamiya. Do some additional painting. It will look lovely for it. You can see here we've got black in the centre of the fuel cap, and on the model it's all just made in silver, pre-painted. I don't think there's a decal for it. No, there isn't. So, you know, you can mask that up and paint it. Somebody did ask, you know, why are you using washes to make the engine look a bit more realistic? Good question, and if I was building it for myself, a proper model, I would. But literally, I have built this to see how it goes together and to show you guys any pitfalls or anything. That's the only reason I've done it. So there it is, out of the box. No additional paintwork, nothing. The only thing I would say, if you do get one, I would seriously glue it together. Especially the small parts. The big fairing parts and that, you don't really need to, they're not going to go anywhere. But all of those small parts, the little greeblies on the engine, you know, when you get to the first steps, you know, these pieces here, L4, L13, L10, L9, glue them. These parts here, glue them on. Because the trouble is, as you saw me, I was knocking them off as I was going, and then, you know, it's very, very difficult to get them back on. So there you go. These little bits here. The other thing to look out for, especially if you're gluing, you be very, very careful with your build sequences, because it's like, it doesn't say anything here, but if you fit this starter motor, there's no way you're going to get those two bits in after. Well, at least that one, anyway. E27, I don't think you'll get that in. When it comes to the rear shock, there's nothing really of note that I remember. Exhaust pipes, obviously, if you're a scale model, you're going to put these together, fill the seams, sand them and everything, paint it all so it's all nicely discoloured. This hose that goes on, where's that hose that goes on? This one here, 32mm, I would make that 34. Okay. Don't leave out D53 like I did. And then this here, I think there's lots of decals on here for this area. Like that one there, I'm sure would go on the side of that box there. Although you're probably never going to see it anyway, so, you know, why bother, I suppose. There's also some bits and pieces here. There's some tiny little stencils. There's a little one there that's, what does that say? DDI. There's a spare O-lins there for somewhere. So yeah, you know, if you've got a CBR1000 and you keep it clean and you clean it properly, you'll know where every single one of those little stencils or stickers goes. So you'll be going to town with it. A couple of these parts here, these G32s and G33s, where they press into the frame, in a couple of places I found them very, very tight, and I just had to sand a tiny bit off to get them to go in. So bear that, just put them in tweezers and just go around with a sanding stick just to reduce the diameter slightly to push them in. But yeah, on the whole, it goes together lovely. It's clearly a Honda Fireblade. You know, without all the additional painting and everything, in my opinion, it looks a little sort of die-cast like. But you know, you might be more than happy with that to have on your workbench or your bench at work or whatever, your desk. So there we go. So that's that build complete of that little beauty. The kit number, as I say, is, there's the box there. You've seen the review, you've seen the videos. The kit number is 1402. You can also get the other one, which I think is 1401. It's behind me. Yes, the other one, the white one, which is, I'll show you, I'll grab it over. Here it is. Here is the white one. This is the 30th anniversary one. So you could also do that one if you want to. So that one's got the metallic grey wheels. I didn't notice actually in here. Did they paint the wheels metallic grey? No, the wheels are still black, but they're showing them as metallic grey on the box front. So that's something you might want to consider. I'm not sure if they should be metallic grey or if it's just the artwork is making them look metallic grey. But anyway, there we go. So yeah, go get yourself one as soon as they're available. And or you can go onto Tiger Hobbies and you can go on there and you can put your email in and they will contact you when they're available. Or you could go to other shops like Jadlam, order it from there on a pre-order. There's lots of ways of getting them. It's not just one shop. So there we are. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any comments, stick them down below. And as I say, those of you that are going to say it looks like a bloody toy, you should have done this, should have done that, you know, please listen to what I'm saying. The whole purpose of this build was to see how it goes together and to show you what it looks like out of the box. And that was the sole purpose of the build. Okay? There we are. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.